Nairobi County. But just to look at the headline for the Daily Nation, or because it has something to do with that, Sonko's massive riches and Nairobi governor's troubles are far from over, especially with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission decides to investigate his long list of properties, vehicles and other assets, including cash in at least 15 bank accounts. And that's what's on the headline this morning, but I don't want us to concentrate so much on that. We've already done the newspaper review, but more to look at the Nairobi County and some of the scenarios that are likely to play. And one of the things, of course, that has been said is Nairobi County may require a new leader depending on how things are going to go for Sonko. Remember, he's supposed to appear in Voi on assault charges, and this is what happened as he was being arrested. But a development that came up is that of the current speaker, Beatrice Elachi, saying that, well, Nairobi County has got no issues and Mike Sonko seems to have put things in order. Let's listen in to what she had to say before we can give our comments on that.
Na sisi tunataka kuwahakikishia hata waheshimiwa. Gavana alikuwa amepitisha bajeti yake ya 2019-2020. Kwa hivyo kazi lazima iendelee. Hapo kuna chief officers, kuna CCs waendelee na kazi yao. Wasikuje kudanganya iko hii, hawaziwezi hii. Maana gavana aliwasainia budget, kila chief officer ndio ID holder, ndio accounting officer. Wafanye kazi yao. Tusisikie Mama Lucy umefungwa. Tusisikie wapi. Tukikojea advisory ya Attorney General. Huyo ndiye atatuambia hapa mmeenda hivi na hapa kuko hivi. Lakini kwa sasa hakuna vacuum. Kwa sasa kuna budget, kuna jinsi huko. Kwa wards kazi iendelee huko. Pending bills iendelee. Alikuwa shapitisha. So Mungu asiseme ilipwe kwa internet banking, kwa IFMIS, watu walipwe. Tuko pamoja hapo.
All right, so that's the Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly, Madam Beatrice Elachi, Honorable Beatrice Elachi Weda. She says that there is no vacuum. Budget has already been allocated. So really, even if Mike Mbuvi Sonko does not, as directed by the court, not go to office, things in Nairobi County still run. Do you agree?
If she says there's no vacuum in terms of money flowing into the hands of the chief officers, that can be true. But there is technically a vacuum. If the governor has been barred from the center of power, the office, the seat of power, then there are many things he cannot execute. He can try to execute them from Mua. But we have seen our brother Brabayao tried it and it doesn't work well. So in the absence of a deputy governor and a governor that is now limping, that has been wounded, the hands have been tied, he's still governor. He's still there, legally, constitutionally still in office. But in terms of work and power operations, he's technically out of office. That makes it difficult for the speaker to say that things are normal. It would have been normal if there was a deputy speaker struggling in the office, also trying with the difficulties. So the Nairobi County is in a difficult situation that will require a solution quickly. Either Governor Sonko will be ousted through a motion in the National Assembly or in the County Assembly, impeached, and then the Senate confirms and is out, or alternatively, the national government will then have to take over the running of the county, have it dissolved, and then elections are done, in which event they'll have problems with the MCAs. But pretending that Nairobi is fine in the absence of a deputy governor,
we'll be burying our heads in the sand.
That is difficult. She may also be trying to play nice because they can remove everybody. The MCAs can remove her, and they can still remove her and remove the governor or retain the governor. So she is trying to be nice to the governor.
Let things run as they are.
Yes, otherwise we are in trouble in terms of accountability. And that has to be looked at. Whatever we're waiting for, the Attorney General is not going to invent the wheel. This is a letter I would have written yesterday, that this is the circumstances, which way forward. A solution has to come. And it will be a hard one. Otherwise, they can negotiate with Sonko, because he still can appoint a deputy governor. He's still the governor, so he can appoint.
He can appoint.
So they just get hold of him and say, Baba Sonko, Bwana Sonko, we are not going to investigate your massive wealth for the next 1 year. Meanwhile, on the condition that you appoint a deputy governor, and his brother, even if he wants a fellow Mkamba, is right here, competent fellow, and things will run.
Honorable Mtambo, what do you see playing out for Nairobi County? Of course, according to what Madam Elachi is saying, is that there is no vacuum, but the truth of the matter is there is a vacuum by virtue of the fact that Sonko cannot access office, and even the crafters of the Constitution did foresee a situation where if the governor is not there for whatever reason, there should be a deputy. But that remains, of course, vacant for Nairobi.
To me, I think what we need to audit is the orders which were given by the judge. Sonko was told not to go to the office. Why? If it is to execute his duties, then he cannot even purport to be executing the duties anymore. He cannot do that. On the contrary, allow me to differ with Ambrose. Him being a lawyer, he should be advising us wisely. Once you've been barred from the office, the activities of the office you cannot carry. You cannot even appoint a deputy at this point. You could have done so before he was taken into court. When he was in police cells, he could have done that. But today, he can't do that, because the moment he does that, he will be going against the court order, which barred him from performing duties in the office, because he cannot literally perform. If he can perform, if he can appoint a deputy governor, then he can as well assent to bills. Then we would have no issues with him staying anymore, or wherever he is doing his job. He will be doing his work wherever he is. So literally, he is not doing anything. He cannot do anything as per that order. And
maybe let's allow Weda to clarify that. Yes. When the court bars you from going to office, are they barring you from actually doing things to do with the office, or is it just a physical presence?
This is a roundabout way of going around about, I mean, a genius way of going around about the Constitution. You can only remove a governor either through impeachment, resignation, or something. So he remains a governor. And that has presented a dilemma. You arrest people, you take them to court, some of them, and they continue. So the court came up with an ingenious way of saying that the office is a scene of crime. It's been preserved. So you don't go there. You don't go there because you have been removed. It is still a scene of crime. You may interfere with the documents, you may touch papers, and so on. But the impact is you are therefore not able to execute your day-to-day functions. Why? Because the headquarters, the seat of the county, is in a specific place. And there are instruments of transferring it. There are also instruments that you cannot remove from the seat to take elsewhere. You can't take the seal and all these things to your house, because the law prescribes how they are put, who puts them, how they are witnessed. So it has been an ingenious way of going around. But he remains a governor.
But now the question is, when you say he remains a governor,
yes,
what is that governor? Is that a governor who can work, or a governor who cannot access, and even sign or assent?
He can sign. He can sign. It is only that when you are out of office, and then you have also a team who do not want you, then it becomes difficult. They use that to obstruct. They say, you are not removing the seal. The seal is not going out of this office. This is not. We are not bringing the bills to your house. We don't know where you are. So technically, you are out. But if there's something to be executed, the governor would easily write a letter. It doesn't require a seal. Just say, I am still the governor. As the governor, I've appointed Joe Mutambo or Ambrose Weda to be deputy governor. It will work.
Okay.
And then he had also promised us, and I think the president should call him. He said, any day he's charged in court. He said it many years ago. He would step aside. This is the time to play the clip and say, Bwana Sonko, please honor this
what
word.
You said.
So he appoints a governor. And these things, let's not just be Puritans. Puritans means we see the law and then we say, the law. There are things you sit and negotiate. Say, we see this. The law allows it. The Constitution allows plea bargaining and all these things. You sit and say, we will close our eyes to this. You have to execute this. It will save the country or the county this. That is how we function. Yes.
All right, Honorable
In a
Mtambo,
serious
there's
society.
obviously the question of the politics surrounding this, and Nairobi County being a very major part of the country in terms of business and even just position. What is Jubilee's responsibility, do you feel, at this point in time to ensure that the county goes on smoothly? When we look at some of the charges that are before Sonko, for example, he's supposed to appear in Voi. One is left thinking that definitely he may have ruffled feathers the wrong way at some level. But what do you feel is Jubilee's responsibility to ensure that Nairobi County does not suffer that vacuum?
There's a lot of things which Jubilee need to do as a party. They have a lot of options, but all those options, they have a lot of consequences, because the option Jubilee can push for is for the Nairobi County to be dissolved. That is one option they can have. To dissolve the Nairobi County, that means even the MCAs they have to go. That is the law we have. On the other hand, there is no way Jubilee can say Sonko to go. Sonko can only go through the MCAs once he is beached by the in assembly. He cannot. There is nobody who can remove Sonko as a governor as it is. Nobody can order him. You are not a governor today. He is as per the law. There is no person who can take up that seat even today. People were saying, when Sonko is arrested, Alach will become a governor. Alach cannot become, because the law is very clear. She can only become a governor when there is no governor or deputy. But for now, we do not have a vacuum of governor. The governor is there. The only thing which is affecting Nairobi is that the constitution does not allow, and I want to teach lawyers some laws, does not allow Sonko to execute his mandate. When you are outside the office, it's like when somebody is on leave. When you are on leave, there are letters which you cannot sign unless you are recalled to the office. Unless Sonko is recalled to the office. For example, if county now passes and says we want Sonko back to be brought, because there is also that window of Sonko being escorted to the county by an investigating officer to go and either collect his belongings or to perform something which the county requires him to do. Unless that happens, there is no way he can sign a letter in Mua or wherever he is, and that becomes a law. He cannot. That's what I'm saying. We need to audit the order. And to me, my opinion is that that's why I said I'm not economical with the truth. I don't think it was right for the judge to pronounce themselves the way they did in terms of preventing governors from accessing their office. It is the same it is the same court which told us when somebody went to court to request Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto to be barred from running for office, they said when you are just you are innocent until pronounced guilty by a court of law. So if they used the same law to tell us you can elect your own leaders, Nairobi elected their own leader. And whether he goes to court or he is not going to court, he has not yet been pronounced guilty. He is still innocent. And when someone is innocent, then they are fit to hold the office. If they are innocent.
But Honorable Mtambo, don't you find that that's where we go wrong as Kenyans? Because we become so legalistic to a point where now we go by dots of the law as opposed to the spirit of the law. We need to be governed by a higher law, which is a moral law, as opposed to just the legal part of it. When we go so legal, we've seen other jurisdictions where ministers will resign because they're 10 minutes late. But in Kenya, even when there is, according to the DPP, sufficient evidence to take you to court, you still want to hold to that office.
Whenever you are taken to court,
because the law says that you are innocent until proven guilty.
Whenever you are being taken to court, that person taking you to court, they always believe that they have sufficient evidence. And that's why the drafters of the Constitution came up with this paragraph that unless proven guilty by a court, right? That is what is letting people to have. And I was seated here with the weather. I don't know why he's shaking his head today. When I said people should not be given bail, and he told me, Mutambu, you must get.
That's a law.
That's a law. It is him who was telling me this. You are seated here. And you know, we don't need to eat bread the buttered side and we leave the other side. We have to take it as a whole. If we want to prosper, let us take the law as it is and let us not apply laws to Weda. And when it comes to Mutambu, we apply it in this other manner. It should be applied equally to every Kenyan. That is the only way we can prosper. But the moment we select which law to use and what to do with the Mutambu and not to do with the Weda because it's a canon, then I think there we go wrong. To me, I believe in the rule of law, and it should be applied equally to each and everyone. So we cannot say we are going to select this and we negate the other one simply because this is Sonko or this is that. This one will be, because allegation are allegation. Whether you have been alleged you murdered somebody, you require a bail, you will be given a bail. It is just allegation. And whether will be there shouting in court, my client has a right to be, whether it is a murder or he has a right. Guilty. It's a law. That's what you will say.
Okay, Weda?
Yes. Let me clarify to my brother so that you don't talk voodoo law around. One, the law requires that when a public officer is charged with the crimes under the economic crimes law, other than the elected leaders, who are also public officers, you step aside. Always, it's automatic, it's written in the law. It is only the elected leaders. And the safeguard then was that politicians could, those in power could use it to finish their opponents. But along the way, the massive theft that has come and the brazen manner in which they do it, they steal, then they come back to the office. They go and pay high bail, 30 million, 50 million, then they come back to office and they continue as normal. They say, I was elected. It actually sends the wrong signal. It actually has been very bad. So that if you are a parastatal chief or you are a commissioner and you are charged, you're out. But if you are elected like a governor, like an MP, then you continue. But the law being dynamic, lawyers being as brilliant as you know because they brought through the Constitution, that is how an idea came that you will continue being in office. But you are barred from accessing the place, and it is described as a scene of crime. It doesn't offend the law, and you are also, the world is able to see and say, no, actually it's not going to the office. Then there's also a decision by Justice Ngugi which said, no, we are not going to discriminate that way. We are now making an order that if you are charged under the economic crimes, not traffic offenses, not others, then you are not supposed to be in office. That decision is still subject to appeal, but it exists. So it is not a question of comparing people being barred from office from people who are being locked in when you are charged. If you are charged that if you are found guilty, you are sent to prison. So you can't be sent to prison prematurely when you are still innocent. That's the basis upon which you are given bail. Okay. All these are to guard misuse. So Sonko, as we talk today, the only thing the court did was say, don't go back to City Hall. But he is still governor. That's why we have a dilemma. And as a governor, he can execute functions of his office.
So long as he does not access the physical.
Now, because he does not access his office, it's like take it this way. You're supposed to move here to go and work in Kisumu every morning. Okay? The only means of going to Kisumu is by KQ. There's no other means. Take another place where you have to fly there. Then somebody says, okay, Ketonga, you are still going to anchor in Kisumu. We have no problem. But you have been stopped from using KQ. They know technically you will not go. That is what the law is doing.
There's an ambiguity there.
So
There's
if you
which is not coming. It does not make sense.
It doesn't make sense, Honorable Mutambo, and that's why I come back to the fact and the thought that as Kenyans we are going wrong. Why? Because we are sticking so much to the law to a point where we can no longer function. I mean, literally, it becomes so ambiguous that now we can go back, and I'm sure lawyers will now end up telling us the law is very clear, and the more clear it becomes, the more blurry it becomes. Question here being, shouldn't we be as Kenyans be governed by Chapter 6 of the Constitution? Integrity, to a point where if I am charged, even if I am an elected leader,
yes,
then I am still governor, I am still whatever position that you have,
yes,
but I choose to step aside and say I will not function until I am cleared.
I think that that is an individual thing. That is a moral thing, which is okay. But when we go to the law, a country, institution, anything must be governed by the laws. And there is no way a judge can pronounce themselves outside the law and they make their own and they say, we are the court and this is what we are suggesting for the country. That thing has not gone through parliament and passed. They are also wrong. There are judges who make wrong decisions, and that's why you see there's an opening of an appeal, okay? Because judges make wrong decisions.
Make a wrong decision.
I want to tell you, from where I sit, my understanding is that this pronouncement was wrong. It was wrong. It was not based under any law. It was based by thinking, okay? And that thinking should not be used. It should not be used to make Kenyans or people suffer. Right now, Ambrose, with his well-versed knowledge of the law, he cannot tell us what Sonko can do and what Sonko cannot do. Because anything Sonko does there, it will have some consequences based on the ruling. And that is the quagmire we are at. And I want us to make it very clear that when a wrong pronouncement is done, even before court, let us be bold enough and say, no, this was not right because it never happened this way. It is the same lawyers who come with a lot of papers to calling them authorities of what was done in another court. And this we need to do like this. You see? So if there is an authority which was used to say let Kenyans be given permission to elect their leaders, and these people are innocent until proven guilty. So it's Sonko. He also is another governor, right. And it's not only about even Waititu.
All right.
I'm not just defending. I'm not defending anyone. I'm just going as per the law, the way it is.
The way it is.
Because we are in limbo now. Because even that pronouncement, don't go to the office, does not say don't do this. Because if they were bold, they could have been bold enough and tell him, you cannot be a governor tomorrow. But because the law does not allow, they find a sneaky way of, that is not right in the eyes of the law. It's not right.
And I want us now to wind up shortly, but now that we're talking about thinking and things, there's also the BBI, and the BBI team's extension was done, but the clergy has come out to say that they're not for that. I want us to listen into what they had to say as we wind up and maybe just get your thoughts and pick on your thoughts on what you think on the extension of the BBI team.
When President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga extended the term office of the BBI task force on Wednesday last week, several leaders supported the move.
Hakuna haja tena ya kwenda kutafuta experts wengine. Wale wenyewe walioandika hiyo report sasa watasimamia vile ya kwenda mbele.
However, Muslim leaders under the SUPKEM umbrella have a different idea on the task force general scorecard.
The BBI report contains a number of observations and suggestions. It has picked up issues from many existing reports and research papers, however, without acknowledging the sources, without capturing the depth of the research and analysis contained in the reports.
The acting chairman of SUPKEM, Hassan Olenado, now says although the team has quelled political temperatures in the country, gaps still exist in its recommendations.
Ili tuendelee mbele kwa yale ambao wamepropose na yale ambao Wakenya wengine wanaona kwamba masuala yao haikutilia maanani, ni muhimu, ni bora zaidi katika utendaji kazi ya kawaida kwamba watu wengine ama group nyingine waweze kuja kusikiza mambo ambao yale maoni ambao watu wataweza kuchangia tena.
These sentiments come a day after the Archbishop of the Anglican Church, Jackson Ole Sapit, criticized President Kenyatta's move to give the task force more time in office, saying the team will not be objective. Ole Sapit argues that President Kenyatta should include the youth into the committee in order to inject fresh ideas.
All right, Honorable Mtambo, let me start with you. The team has always had contention right from the word go, by virtue of the fact that apparently it was just two people that came together and set up the team. They have given us now the proposed report, but an extension is being proposed and has been given. Your thoughts, very briefly.
To me, I think extension is very important because you will reach other people. The same BBI tells us who was interviewed. And when you go to the annexures, and I said it the other time when I was seated here, for a county which has got 1 million people, is only 3 or 4 people who were interviewed. That does not carry the views of all other members.
The more reason why it should now be given to experts and leave the team have done their job.
The team has done their job. So I don't know what is it that they will go and do unless they have another script, unless they have another different mandate. We should give them some more mandate to go out there and collect views and bring them back. When we sat here, we said there should be a committee, because when people are being told to take this document and read, who is taking notes? You know, you are reading, and there must be somebody taking notes and collecting your views. So there must be a collection of views, and those views must be brought together by a team of experts who says, Abros is saying this, Butambo is saying this, Mike Kitonga is saying this, so and so, Wajiko is saying this, and those views are brought. I want to tell you, and I think that is why I part ways with everyone. I am not economical with the truth, and I don't fear telling people the truth. There is what Kenyans expected. The expectations of Kenyans, and I'm saying this because I was the pioneer to do this, the Kenyans expected that there will be deduction of counties. It doesn't matter whether Awed agrees with me or not. People will say, don't touch my county. But that is the only way this country will prosper. With the 47 excellencies and our excellencies in this country cannot move forward because it is too expensive to maintain it. The purpose of amending the constitution of this BBI was first to reduce the wage bill. You cannot do so when you have such a bloated workers across the country. It is not possible. It doesn't matter how we want to sugarcoat it to please people. You cannot please everyone. You have to do what is right. And for me, I said, let us reduce counties. I will be happy if the constituencies are reduced. I'll have no problem with that. I'll tell you, Kenyans, they don't understand the role of women rep in our counties. They do not know.
In short, we needed a reduced wage bill, amongst other things, from the BBI.
From the BBI. And where we missed it, because it had a goodwill. They could have brought that proposal when it has the high level of political goodwill. Everybody was in Bomas. And I don't expect Kalonzo or Mudavadi or anybody to wake up in that environment to come and say, I don't support this. It had all, but they missed it.
The opportunity.
They missed the opportunity. They could have grabbed that opportunity and bring it on the table. No matter how bad it is, bring it there, let people discuss it. Now we are going back to start afresh, and that is where I'm foreseeing a problem in the future. I'm seeing this. I'm not a prophet, but I'm seeing a very bad scenario coming in the future when this BBI is taken back and some amendments are done.
Are made, and then it comes as a different document. All right, we're out of time. Whether, very briefly, your thoughts on a committee of experts as opposed to the extension of the term for the committee?
Yes, I think, I don't know. We need to see the Gazette notice extending. Whether the extension is to go forward. Going forward means to bring what next? Is it a bill, or the extension is for them to go and collect more views and do all these things and then bring another report? What they brought, I can tell you, they did not deal with the issue. It is only that we fear those who brought. We fear the president. When the president says, anybody who is opposed to BBI or says anything against me, we will deal with them. Then now we fear. But otherwise, if we sat down, we'll tell him, Your Excellency, there is nothing much here. My big prime minister and kinsman, there is nothing in there. You need to do it. So where we are going forward, it is not the views that is required for now. It is required that we look exactly what people want. What do they want? There is a problem with the winner takes it all. He is talking about the counties. How do we frame it? How do we bring it up so that we move forward? So extending the mandate and the time for the BBI team, which was originally a secretive organization, will not help. They can.
Gentlemen, we're out of time, but I look at the dates, and the 23rd is next Monday, so it's been a great year. I don't know, very briefly, on Tambo, maybe just your Christmas wishes to Kenyans, as next Monday, I'm not sure you'll even be available. Yes. You'll probably be preparing for Christmas holidays somewhere.
Oh, yes, I want to wish all Kenyans Merry Christmas. I don't know whether it will be merry, because I don't know whether they have money, because they economy is so bad. I don't know whether there are those who are not living in their homes because of floods. So I don't know whether it will be merry or what, but I just want to wish them Merry Christmas spiritually and prosperous New Year.
All right.
Let me wish all of you a Merry Christmas as I caution fellow Kenyans, please don't spend so that when it comes to January, you can't take children to school. 25th is not a day for you to spend. It's just a day for you to make your time with your maker as you prepare for January, as you work out your goals, where you want to go next year. It's not about spending then next year. You look lugubrious, you look sad, you borrow here and there, you are meshwari and so on. Please avoid that. Just get some nice meal to eat in the home. Then you pray, you can go to church, you can go to the mosque. When you finish, you come back. It is not spending, buying things, buying clothes, buying all these things. It's about reflection. And then next year, you start strong. In January, you start strong. Prosperous New Year.
Thank you very much. Canon Ambrose Weda, who is a lawyer and a political analyst. Thank you for joining us this morning. And also Honorable Joe Mtambo, former member of parliament for Mwingi Central. And also for the support on Morning Express. You've been very consistent and we say a big thank you to you. It's now 1:30.